Why can't you just be like other men? She would snap during conversations. You never stand up for yourself. Ebuka, hot and confused, tried to please her, but nothing he did seemed to be enough. Once upon a time, in the village of Amayo, nestled in the heart of Nigeria, lived a young boy named Ebuka. From a young age, Ebuka was different. While other children laughed and played in the dusty streets, Ebuka preferred the quiet corners of his home. Lost in his own world, he was a gifted artist, his drawing capturing the essence of life around him in vivid details. Yet, despite his talent, Ebuka struggles with a deep-seated shyness and low self-esteem that kept him away from forming friendship. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Okonkwo, were hardworking farmers who loved their son dearly but were often frustrated by his reluctancy to socialize. Ebuka, why don't you go and play with the other children? His mother would urge him daily. You can't spend all your time drawing. Yes, Mama, Ebuka would reply softly, but he rarely ventured outside. His father, a strict yet loving man, would shake his head in frustration. A man must learn to be strong and social. How will you manage in this world if you don't? Years have passed, and Ebuka artistic skill flourished, but his self-imposed isolation remained. Despite his parents' best efforts, Ebuka could not shake off the insecurity that plagued him. He excelled in school, but even then he kept to himself. Even his classmates regard him as a mysterious person, someone difficult to understand. But when Ebuka turned 21, he decided to move to the city of Enugu to pursue his dreams of becoming a renowned artist. In Enugu, he found a small apartment and started selling his painting at the local market. His work quickly gained attention and soon he was making a name for himself. It was during one of his market days that he met Efora, a beautiful and confident young woman who was captivated by his art. Efora was everything Ebuka was not: outgoing, excessive, and fascinating. She approached him one day when he was setting up his store. Your paintings are beautiful, she said, her eyes sparkling with genuine admiration. I am Efora. Ebuka looked up, surprised by her directness. Thank you. I am Ebuka. They struck up a conversation, and over time, Efora's visits became more frequent. She was drawn to his quiet strength and depth of his creativity. Ebuka, in turn, was enchanted by her humor and charm. Despite his reservation, he found himself falling for her. After a year of courtship, they got married. At first, their life together seemed perfect. Efora's outgoing nature complemented Ebuka's reserved personality, and they were happy. But as time went on, cracks began to appear in their relationship. Efora started to resent Ebuka's quiet demeanor, interpreting it as weakness. Why can't you be more like other men? She would snap during arguments. You never stand up for yourself. Ebuka, hot and confused, tried to please her, but nothing he did seems to be enough. She started to belittle his work, calling it a waste of time and money. Why don't you get a real job? She would say, her voice dripping with disdain. Ebuka, still struggling with his self-esteem, accepted her criticism without protest. Ifoma's behavior grew worse. She began to control every aspect of Ebuka's life, from his finances to his daily activity. She would often humiliate him in front of others, making cruel jokes about his sensitivity and lack of confidence. Ebuka's once bright spirit dimmed, and he became a shadow of his former self. Ifeoma sometimes won't cook, waiting for Ebuka to come back from work to enter kitchen and cook for her, which Ebuka would do sometimes without arguing. One day, Ifeoma pulled out a pile of dirty clothes and demanded Ebuka to watch them. Watch this before you go to work. But Ebuka replied her, I will be late for the market if I watch them now. Can't I do it this evening? But Ifeoma shouted, watch them now or you are not going anywhere. Ebuka, not wanting to argue, washed the clothes before heading to his workshop. From that day on, Ebuka's morning began with chores. He would wash clothes and cook before leaving for work. In the evening, he would come back to more demands. Ifeoma's behavior worsened and she often yelled at Ebuka over trivial matters, throwing objects at him in a fit of rage. Ebuka silently enduring the maltreatment, scared of telling anyone, thinking they would call him weak and mock him. He prayed for peace to return to his home. But Ifeoma's demand grew even more unreasonable, and she began to treat him poorly, criticizing him constantly and assigning him all the household chores. Ebuka found himself cooking, cleaning, and doing laundry, all while trying to maintain his art career. One evening, after a particular harsh confrontation, Ifeoma screamed at him, you are nothing but a maid in this house. The word cut deep, but Ebuka remained silent, his heart heavy with the weight of his wife's disdain. Months turned into years. Ebuka's once bright spirit dimmed even more under the stain of Ifeoma's relentless maltreatment. He became a shadow of himself, his artwork suffering as a result. Friends and family noticed the change, but Ebuka always made excuses, too ashamed to admit the truth. One evening, Ebuka had a little provocation with the neighbor, and the neighbor said to him, look at you, a man in a woman's body. See the way your wife is controlling you and insulting you up and down. How dare you talk to me? Go and take care of your home first before you come out to give me advice. That fateful day, Ebuka decided that he had had enough. As he scrubbed the kitchen floor, the words keep recounting on his ear. You are not a man. You are not a man. He realized he could no longer live like this. He mustered all his courage and stood up. Wiping his hands on his apron, he walked into the living room where Ifeoma was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Ifeoma, we need to talk, he said firmly, his voice steady for the first time in years. Ifeoma looked up, stared by his tone. What is it now? She snapped. I can't continue like this, Ebuka said, looking at her. I have tried to make this work, but it is clear you don't respect me. I deserve better and I'm leaving. Ifeoma stared at him for a very short time, speechless. You are leaving? Just like that? Yes, he replied, feeling a newfound confidence and strength with him. I need to find my happiness again. Just because I have a low self esteem doesn't mean I don't have sense. I endured because I love you, and I was hoping I was doing all this to please you, my wife. But since you don't want to change and my artwork is suffering, I am no longer interested in this marriage. Without another word, Ebuka packed his belongings and walked out of the door, leaving behind the life he had known for so long. He moved into a small studio apartment and threw himself into his work, the pain of his failed marriage. Because of the love he has for his creativity and work, Ebuka put on a new depth of emotion into his work. To his surprise, his art began to attract even more attention. Galleries in Lagos and Abuja started showcasing his painting, and soon he was receiving invitations to exhibit internationally. Ebuka's name became popular with resilience and transformation. Year later, at one of his exhibitions in New York, he met a woman, Amara, who was an art critic. She has followed his work for years. They struck up a conversation, and Ebuka felt an instant connection. Amara was kind, understanding, and genuinely interested in him as a person. As they got to know each other, Ebuka opened up about his past. And Amala listened with empathy. You have been through so much, she said softly, but look at what you have accomplished. You are stronger than you realized. Ebuka smiled, feeling a warmth he hasn't felt in years. For the first time, he saw his journey not as a series of failure, but as a step towards finding his true self. As Ebuka and Amara's relationship boomed, he found the peace and happiness he had always longed for. He realized that his quiet strength was not a weakness, but a unique part of who he was. And with Amara by his side, he knew he could face whatever the future held. One day, while preparing for another major exhibition, he received a letter from Ifeoma. She wrote of his regrets and how she had come to realize her mistakes. She asked for his forgiveness and hoped they could meet to talk. Ebuka was torn. He had moved on and found happiness, but a part of him felt he owed it to his past to hear her out. Ebuka's hand trembled as he held the letter from Ifeoma. The word seemed to blur as memories of their bad marriage flooded back. He looked up at Amara, who stood beside her, her eyes filled with concern. Do you think I should meet her? He asked, his voice uncertain. Amara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. I think it is important for you to find closure. But whatever you have decided, I will support you. Ebuka nodded. I will meet her. With Amara's support, he agreed to meet Ifeoma, not knowing that this encounter would bring twists he never expected and would lead him to a decision that would shape his future in a way he couldn't imagine. They agreed to meet at a quiet cafe in Enugu, a place that held no memories of their past together. On the day of the meeting, Ebuka arrived early, his heart pounding. He chose a table near the window and sat down, staring at the busy streets, trying to calm his nerves. When Ifeoma walked in, Ebuka barely recognized her. She looked older, tired out, her once vibrant eyes now dull with regret. Ebuka, she greeted him softly. Ifeoma, he replied. They sat in awkward silence for a moment before Ifeoma spoke. Thank you for agreeing to meet me. She began, her voice trembling. I know I have no right to ask for your time, but I needed to see you. Ebuka nodded, unsure of what to say. He had rehearsed this moment in his mind countless times, but now that it was here, words seemed not to be coming out. I have spent the last few years thinking about everything, Ifeoma continued. I was wrong, Ebuka. I treated you terribly, and I have regretted it every day since you left. Ebuka looked at her, seeing the sincerity in her eyes. Why now, Ifeoma? Why reach out now after all this time? I had a lot of time to reflect on my actions. I went through therapy and I realized how much I hurt you. I wanted to apologize and ask for your forgiveness. I know I can't change the past, but I hope we can find some way to move forward. Ebuka listened. Part of him wanted to lash out, to tell her how much pain she has caused. But another part, the part that have held healed and grown stronger, urged him to find forgiveness. Ifeoma, he said finally, his voice steady. I appreciate your apology. It wasn't easy for me to move on from what happened, but I found my strength and rebuilt my life. I have forgiven you in my heart a long time ago. I don't even think we can ever go back to the way things were. Ifeoma started crying. I understand. I just needed to tell you that I'm sorry. Ebuka felt a weight lift off his shoulder. Thank you, Ifeoma. I hope you find peace in your life. They parted ways amicably. As Ebuka walked back to his apartment, he felt lighter, as if a chapter of his life had finally been completed. Back home, Amara greeted him with a warm hug. How did it go? She asked. It went well. Ebuka replied, smiling. I feel like I can finally move on completely. Ebuka continued to flourish, and his relationship with Amara grew deeper. They traveled together, exploring new places and drawing inspiration from the world around them. One evening, after a successful exhibition in New York, Ebuka received an unexpected call. It was from his father, Mr. Okonkwo. Ebuka, your mother and I are so proud of you. We have been following your success and we couldn't be much happier. Thank you, Papa. It means a lot to hear that. We want to tell you something important. You come from a lineage of artists. Your great grandfather was a renowned sculptor, and your grandmother was a gifted painter. We never told you because we wanted you to find your own path, but we always knew that art was in your blood. Ebuka was speechless. The revelation explained so much about his inborn talent and passion for art. Why did you tell me earlier? He asked. We wanted you to discover your own journey. His mother explained gently, and you did in the most beautiful way. Ebuka felt a sense of connection to his heritage. His journey had not only been about finding himself, but also about honoring a legacy. He felt more inspired than ever to continue his work, knowing that he was carrying forward a family tradition. On the final day of the exhibition, Ebuka stood in front of his favorite piece, a sculpture that melded his modern style with traditional elements from his great grandfather's work. As he looked at it, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Amara joined him. You did it. Ebuka, you have honored your family's legacy beautifully. Ebuka smiled, his heart full. I couldn't have done it without you. Amara, you have been my rock through everything. As they prepared to leave New York, Ebuka reflected on his journey. He had faced immense challenges, from his struggle with low self-esteem and societal expectation to the tumor of his abusive marriage. But through it all, he had remained true to himself and emerged stronger. Back in Nigeria, the success of their exhibition opened new doors for the collections. They received numerous invitations to showcase their work around the world, and their influence continued to grow. Ebuka, now a well-respected figure in the art community, used his platform to inspire and mentor others, sharing his lessons that he has learned along his journey. Ebuka's story teaches us the importance of embracing who we are despite societal pressures and expectations. Our uniqueness is our strength, and staying true to ourselves can lead to personal fulfillment and success. Ebuka's ability to forgive Ifeoma and move forward with his life highlights the importance of letting go of past hurt and embracing personal growth. Forgiveness is not about forgetting the pain, but about freeing ourselves to live fully and positivity. Thank you for watching. I hope you found value in this story. Please share this story out with your loved ones so as to create this awareness. Also like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel till I bring another interesting story your way. Bye.